Men are often oblivious when it comes to their wife's frustration and discontent in marriage. Did you know that 60% of moms say they feel overwhelmed and underappreciated? Maybe there's some dads out there feeling the same way. Well, we all get overwhelmed with our own personal responsibilities, forgetting to look at both sides of the coin. Improvements begin with awareness, then willingness to do something different than you've been doing. And then the big one, taking action. This is where most couples fail. They put it off and they put it off until suddenly one day the kids are gone and they have nothing in common and don't even care for one another's company anymore. Well, today we're going to begin with 5 conversation starters. Yes, conversation starters. Do you need them? These will improve your awareness of one another's needs, which will improve your communication. So grab a pen and write down the 12 ways you can enrich your marriage. Woohoo! Anybody ready? You are on your way to a sweeter relationship. Stay with me. Welcome to the Extraordinary Marriage Podcast. I'm your host, Connie Durham. If you've ever felt like your marriage is more of a roller coaster ride than a romantic getaway, you're not alone. We all have our ups and downs, sometimes unintentionally hurting each other's feelings or missing the mark on what our spouse truly needs from us. Life gets busy, and it's easy to focus on irritations and failures instead of celebrating the love that brought you together in the first place. But fear not. I'm here to help you explore practical tools and heartfelt encouragement and rediscover what you love most about your spouse. Get ready to lean into each other's strengths and build something beautiful together. Not just survive, but thrive. I'll see you inside. Today, we're going to start out with the 5 conversation starters. So these are 5 things that you sit down together and you use them to begin a conversation. And they're really pretty good. Number 1, what's one thing I can do this week to make you feel more loved? Yeah, we're usually thinking about what makes me feel more loved, right? But we need to think about our spouse too. And when you sit down facing each other and you ask this question, one person answers it and then the other person answers it. And you may be surprised it is something that you've never thought of. It might be something you never thought of. I have a video on the 5 concepts of happiness. And I remember when I asked my husband that, he gave me an answer that I did not expect. And I've been married many, many years. So this question shows you're listening and you care. What's one thing I can do this week to make you feel more loved? And just set this out as a little time after dinner. The kids have gone to bed and you sit down and do this and just have a conversation and see what it brings you. Number 2, what's one thing you wish I understood better about your daily life? Can you imagine your husband sitting down and saying, what's one thing you really need me to understand about your day? Yeah. We who are talkative, we spill the beans, we tell our frustrations, mostly our frustrations. Think about it. I mean, I remember when my kids were small, when my husband came in, well, I might tell them some of the cute and fun stuff they did, when they're 1, 2, 3 years old. But you would also tell them about the frustrations that happen, and they're just coming in from work, right? That is if you're a stay-at-home mom. You're telling them the negatives instead of the positives. There's 2 types of people: those who voice it all, I might be that one, and those who keep it all canned up inside. Yeah, some people keep it all canned up. So just imagine you're sitting down, your second question as you guys are facing each other, having conversation. What's one thing you wish, honey, that I understood better about your daily life? And it goes both ways. You talk and then he talks. You have a conversation about it. Number 3, How can we create more quality time together? Well, one person's quality time is not the same as another. And if you don't plan it, it's just simply not going to happen. Some people like to sit and watch TV together. Some like to take a walk. Some like to have a conversation. Some want to go do something new and adventurous. So everybody has these different things that they deem as quality time. So sit down. That's question number 3. How can we create more quality time together? You give an answer, he gives an answer. You're listening to one another. Do you see where we're going with this? Number 4, what's one thing you would like to do together this month that we haven't done in a while? We all have that something that we're like, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. If you think back to when you first met your spouse, started dating your spouse, maybe you're engaged and then you got married. If you think about those days, you usually think about them with delight, with great memories of conversations and getting to know each other, because that's what you do when you first meet. You're asking questions and you're listening because you want to know about the other person. But once you've been married for a while, you kind of forget, or maybe you're not interested in anymore. Well, that's a problem, right? So number 4 is, what's one thing you'd like to do together this month that maybe we haven't done in a while? This encourages a little exploration of shared interest and helps you reconnect. I know I have a free gift. It's called The Chemistry of Lasting Love. And if you listen to a lot of my podcasts, I keep suggesting it. Why? Because it will help you figure out what your spouse needs from you and what you need from them. And you sit down and you have a conversation and you discuss these things and you talk about them. And they're probably things you just haven't thought about, but they're really simple. They're not hard. They're just something that you've not thought about. Number 5 on here, what's one thing you appreciate about me that I might not know about? So you're asking your spouse, what's one thing that you appreciate about me that I might not know about? And then you're asking that, and then he's asking that. And often we don't show our appreciation or talk about our appreciation or tell our spouse how much we appreciate them. Can you see where this is going? So that's 5 questions, and that's the beginning today. And that's where we're beginning. 5 conversation starters that help you each begin to connect or reconnect. There's too many people who've been married 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, 35 years, 45 years, who have so disconnected because they don't talk about what's really interesting to each of them. They don't take that quality time together. And what is not being brought together and kept together is more than likely through this world being pushed apart. Can you see that there? So I want you to imagine if you suddenly lost your spouse, and I know that's really drastic. What would you wish that you had told them? And as you're looking at those 5 things and you're having a conversation, you know, if suddenly you lost your spouse, you might be thinking differently than you are right after you've had an argument or you've spent no time together and that kind of thing. Do you have trouble connecting with your spouse? I have a marriage guide loaded with fun and new things to do together, a unique way to improve your relationship, and it's free. I just told you about it a minute ago. It's called The Chemistry of Lasting Love, and you can find it on my website, The Extraordinary Marriage. Well, too often, moms often feel like they're raising their kids alone, and dads feel unappreciated for working all day and bringing home the bacon, or maybe you're both working all day. Now, that presents a whole nother thing. Well, today I'm going to give you 12 ways to enrich your marriage. And the first would be those 5 things where you stop and have a conversation. But 12 simple ways to enrich your marriage. And these go both ways. There's little time for relationship building in our day-to-day lives. But the good news is there are simple things that you can do that make both of you feel appreciated. Are you ready? You might want to grab a pencil and write these down, or remember what podcast this is and go back to them. And they're really simple. Number one, daily affirmations. Leave a sticky note on the bathroom mirror with a compliment. If it's for your husband, it might be where he shaves in the morning. If it's for the wife to see later, it might be on the refrigerator or the coffee maker where she's going to see it. That little something special that you're thinking about her that day. You'll be surprised that when you start thinking positively, affectionately, lovingly towards each other, you act lovingly affectionate towards each other. Number two, surprise date nights. Book a babysitter and surprise her with a dinner at her favorite restaurant. Or, some couples he likes to choose and some couples she likes to choose. Or go to my restaurant this month, go to your restaurant the next month. I always believe in being fair and taking turns. Number three, acts of service. Hey, clean the house while she's out to surprise her when she returns. Now, these are all, we just had Mother's Day, so these are kind of anchored towards moms. But you can also take these and think about what would an act of service be for your husband that would make him super happy. Number four, quality time together. Schedule a weekly coffee date at home when the kids aren't home or after they go to bed, where you just sit down and chat about your day. Now, my kids are all grown now, but often Jeff and I sit down for dinner, and then we just stay there for a while. Maybe we start talking about our day or something that went on, and we start, having a conversation about it. And, an hour goes by before we get up and put the dishes in the sink and clean up the kitchen. So when you have children, it's really all the more important because so much attention goes to the kids that you do take out some time to sit and chat with one another. So figure out when that would be. It might be in the morning before the kids get up, or, for a few minutes after the kids, you just got them all tucked in, read the bedtime stories. They're tucked in, and maybe you sit down and have a cup of coffee or a glass of tea or a snack, just one with each other. So, four, quality time. Schedule a weekly coffee date at home after the kids go to bed. And that's what I just said already. Number five, thoughtful gifts. Pick up her favorite treat when you're out running errands. Sometimes you're at the store, and let's face it, flowers are cheaper whenever it's not Mother's Day or Christmas or something special. Pick up a few flowers, pick up a chocolate bar. What is it that she likes? And there again, on the other hand, what's a little something that he likes? It might be a favorite dessert or a favorite dinner. Thoughtful gifts, just that little something. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Number six, regular check-ins. Ask her how her day was and really listen to her response. Well, I was just talking with my brother-in-law on a podcast that you'll see this month. And we were talking about the value of really listening, and that so often, so many of us are thinking about what we're going to say when we're having a conversation instead of really listening to what they're saying. One thing that you can do when you are having a conversation is to, on occasion, not over and over, or you sound like a parrot, but repeat what they said to you to let them know that you are listening or to clarify exactly what you heard. So, regular check ins, ask them how their day is, and really listen to what they tell you. So, whenever you ask the question, make sure you're ready and prepared to listen. Keep your eyes on them. My kids used to say, Mom, 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 Mom. And I say, Yeah. And they would start to tell me something, and they knew that if they didn't have my face and my eyes, I was maybe not really listening. So, when we're looking at each other, it shows we're listening. Number seven, compliments. Tell her how much you appreciate her parenting style, or how great she keeps the house, or her making dinner for you at night. Tell her how much you appreciate, her fixing up and looking pretty for you, or, tell her how much you appreciate, and you fill in the blank. Number eight, encouragement. Encourage her to take time for herself and pursue her passions. As moms, often all attentions and all efforts and all energies are poured out on the kids. What's going on with the kids? We talk about the kids, everything's about the kids, and we kind of forget ourselves sometimes. And, sometimes that's okay because, kids are our life and are our busyness and our effort to raise kind, thoughtful, um, confident children, right? Smart kids who think for themselves and that kind of stuff. But sometimes we have to stop and take a little time out for something fun that we like to do. I know when my kids were small, I would sit down every day. And back in that day, we watched soap operas. Yeah, I watched those. So I'd have my soap opera on, and I would either have my ceramics or my crocheting, some painting I was doing. I would do that and watch TV during the kids' nap time, and that just kind of refueled me. What do you need to refuel? It might be to read a book. It might be to take a nap. It might be to get something cleaned up that is really bothering you. But for husbands, encourage her to take time for herself and pursue her passions. Do something that she enjoys. There again, that goes both ways. Husbands need that sometimes too, because we think they're out and gone all day long, and they're out with people, and they're working. Like I said earlier, sometimes both spouses work, and you really have to pull together that time to do things that you enjoy doing to keep your own cup full. Number 9, help with the kids. Mostly all the time, women need a little help with the kids on occasion because it just gets 24/7, tiresome, constant, day in, day out. And moms get low on energy, and sometimes they just need a break or a hot bath or a book or time out with a girlfriend, right? So encourage them to take a little time, help with the kids, offer to take the kids to the park so she can have a little bit of alone time. Then number 10, communicate. This is a big one. Communicate. Schedule a weekly check-in to discuss how you're both feeling. I mean, days go by, weeks go by, months go by, and sometimes we just don't stop to connect to really understand what's going on in each other's lives. And maybe all you do is talk about the kids. So schedule a weekly check-in to discuss how you're both feeling, how things are going. Yeah, because some people don't talk. I will say that's one area for my husband and I. He's a great listener. And we always talked about what was going on, how the kids were going, what was coming up, communication. Honey, I'm going to be home at 5:30. Make sure you're home around 5:30. Don't come home at 7:30. Good communication makes for a great relationship. 11, pray together. Set aside time each week to pray together as a couple. Over and over through the years as a Christian and a constant churchgoer, it's like I have always heard for couples to sit down and pray together. And, we pray at church. We might pray at meals. We might pray in the morning. We might pray at our own study time, our own study time that we're doing. But it's important to pray together. It's like a really humbling kind of thing whenever you sit down and pray together. Number 12, plan a getaway. Book a weekend trip to a nearby city or resort. Hey, and if you can't do that, like get a babysitter for the day and go and spend the day together. I remember when my kids were small, and we have a place called Callaway Gardens where you can ride bikes. There's a sandy beach there, beautiful flowers and trees and trails to walk and that kind of thing. And I remember my mother-in-law watching my kids, and I had 3 little ones at that point. And she said, "Oh, it's your anniversary. Let me watch the kids and y'all, and we're going to give you, the tickets to Callaway, the pass." And she even packed us a picnic basket and everything and sent us out for the day. And you know what we did? We were so used to keeping track of those little kids. We had I don't know, we had 3 kids, like 6 maybe and under at that point. And I hardly ever left them except when I was teaching ballet class at night. My husband would come in and he would have them. Um, but she gave us that picnic basket, the tickets, the whole day. And I remember still when we got out of the car and we pulled out the picnic basket and the blanket and we looked at each other and we both felt like we had empty hands. Like, what do we do with ourselves? Because it had just been a long time since we had stopped to just go and do something fun together. It's practically like we forgot how to do it because we are constant caretakers. So my 47th wedding anniversary is coming up in June. And we've been lucky. Our parents were great role models. And we've always done things together and taken time to talk about life and kids and work and what we dreamed about. And our choices and behaviors were always rooted in the principles of the Bible. I hope you found something today that helps you and your spouse grow your love and keep the connection that first attracted you. Sometimes, if you're really having trouble, stop and go back and talk about when you first met. Talk about what attracted you, what was fun, things that you did and things that you enjoyed. And you may find that it helps you find your way back to that love and that emotional feeling that you want to have as a married couple, until you've been married 70 years, right? So check out my Empowered series taken from the Focus of the Family book. And it's called Empowered to Love is the book from Focus on the Family. And I have an Empowered series. One's on forgiveness. One's on how to talk with your spouse. That is an excellent book. I really would suggest you get it and read it. All right. I'm Connie Durham, your host of The Extraordinary Marriage. Thanks for listening today, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to The Extraordinary Marriage Podcast with me, Connie Durham. Remember, every marriage has its bumps in the road, but with the right tools and encouragement, you can turn those bumps into stepping stones. Focus less on frustrations and more on what you love about each other. Grow together, laugh together, and love forever. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. Join me next time as we keep exploring how you can build the kind of marriage that feels extraordinary. Until then, keep showing up, keep listening, and keep loving. You've got this.